am Debbie.
And I'm Jan.
And this is the Villages 365.
And today we're doing questions from you guys for October.
Yes. The first one we had was from our video, The Crazy Things in the Villages. Victor Suarez asked, is this a community in Florida? Yep.
You're in Florida.
Central Florida, in between Ocala and Orlando. So Central Florida.
And 3 counties right now?
Yep.
Lake Sumter, Marion, and close to Lady Lake, Wildwood, Oxford, and Fruitland Park. So it's a growing, and it's a Florida.
So thanks for your question.
The next one from Crazy Things in the Villages, Sharon Culver. How often do you lose power? Are whole house generators popular? Now, we don't lose power very often. During a really bad storm, it might be off for a little bit. The hurricane, which one was that? I thought
Irma,
I had
maybe?
What was it, Irma? No, that was...
Maybe. I don't know.
It was honestly 5 years ago. Whichever one was 5 years ago. I did look it up. And the people across the street did not have power for a week.
Wow.
And we found out, we're across from them, we didn't lose power at all. And we found out that we're on the same grid as the hospital.
Oh.
So that might be why we don't lose electricity.
Look at how fancy she is.
I know. I didn't even know it until my neighbor's a realtor, and she said something about it, because I'm like, man, I felt bad, because I'd go for a run and people would look at me like, and one guy goes, you have power? And I go, yes. And then I ran faster because I'm pretty sure he's going, how's she going to take a shower after that? But yeah, I mean, does it go out for you very often?
It really doesn't. And
the cable does more, or the internet does more.
Yeah, and honestly, in that same hurricane, I felt bad. I actually offered, because I've got some friends in Ocala, and they all have these big homes with these big old trees on them, and they had a lot of trees down. And here I was sitting there like nothing was going on with power and cable and air conditioning, and so I was offering to go up there, because I know what you're talking about. And so it probably depends on where you're at. And I will say, like where my my stepmom lives, they had power. Right across the street, they had no power. So obviously it's patchy. And
well, and I think the people across the street have different power. We have Duke, and they have something else.
We have Seco by us. Yeah. So, but in the generators, I mean, it's an expensive investment. And so I think for me, well, my response always to my husband was, we can replace a lot of food, which I don't like to waste the food, but I could replace a lot of food for what a generator costs. So
people used to go to Lowe's and Home Depot and buy a generator like the week before the hurricane coming, and then they'd take it back. And I think that finally Lowe's put the kibosh on that, because...
Well, good, because that's not fair.
And maybe some people kind of used it, cleaned it up, and tried to take it back. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't see any outside.
Well, they have those Generac ones, and I do know people that have bought those, but you're talking like $10,000, $12,000.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It's a whole house generator, but anyway, I guess it depends on your economic means. If you really feel that that's important to you, if you feel like I just can't live without air conditioning, to me, I would be like, well, I guess we'll go to a hotel, even if we've got to drive into Georgia or something. We'll go where we got to go, or we've got enough friends. The thing is, around the Villages too, you'll meet a lot of friends and family and stuff, and we'll just go over there, because the Princess is never going to be without power, clearly. So now I know I never have to worry about buying a generator.
Yeah, and we had the villa at that time, and the neighbor across the street wanted to take they asked if we had room in our refrigerator, and I said, oh, take it over to the villa. There's power over there. And they kind of looked at us like we are sweating, and you have an empty villa. And I go, oh, do you want to go use it? So they went over there and used it. So it worked out. And
people are very helpful here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the wires are underground here, except for the big towers. And we're in Central. If we were on the coast,
I'd worry more
maybe
about
you would think about it.
Yeah.
But here, the storms are getting weaker by the time they hit us. So So I think the answer is no. Thank you, Sharon.
Karen Stasek asked, what is the Lightning app? So what we were referring to is, we both have iPhones, which I'm sure works on the Droids also, but I use WeatherBug. Which one do you use? Do you use
My Lightning Tracker?
Oh, you have My Lightning Tracker. Okay.
Yeah, that does the latest strikes, hot spots, and radar. But then I use just AccuWeather most of the other time, except it doesn't do lightning strikes.
Well, see, mine does alerts. So WeatherBug, we have the Apple Watches, and so what happens is the lightning bug, I have it set when there's a strike within 10 miles, it buzzes me. So then we kind of know, now we can kind of watch the storm. So it's 10 miles, but is it like 10 miles that way and it's blowing, you know, north of us or what? So we can kind of keep an eye on the sky, but the storms are pretty dangerous here. So I would recommend if you're out and about, like out in the middle of a field, like a golf course, to have some sort of device to figure it out.
Here.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
and they will leave you on the course. It is your own liability here,
right.
Which I like because I like to be able to make my own decisions, but you better make good decisions.
Yeah, we've hidden, and we've said this before in other videos, we've hidden in the bathrooms before while a big storm blows over. But yeah, the lightning's pretty scary, and we used to be the lightning capital of the world. I think somebody else took it over one year. I don't know, maybe we get it back. I don't know if we really want that.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to fight hard for that, right?
David Pinkney, are there women's leagues for executive courses? Yes, there are. Tuesdays are men's, Wednesdays are ladies, and there's Ladies' Day and Men's Day at 12 different courses. And Churchill Greens, De La Vista, Heron, Longleaf, Lowlands, Mira Mesa, Saddlebrook, Silver Lake, Turtle Mound, Volusia, Walnut Grove, and Pimlico. So yes, if you want to just get into a league on an executive, that is available.
We also, so those were questions that were on the videos. I wanted to take a minute and go to, so we have an email address, which is villages365 at, no, it's 365 villages. Oh my gosh, I'm going to put it on the bottom. I always forget.
I had that written down.
Do you have it? No. Anyway, here we go. But so anyway, I'll put it in the down below so you guys can see it. But anyway, we do have a email address, and so we do get some emailed questions of people maybe that are too shy to put them out there or whatever, and that's good too, no problem. But we do still respond to those emails, and we thought we'd share some of those questions. The first one was, we have heard it's hard to book tee times on executive courses. Can you explain the rules? So the rules are going to be for residents because executive courses can only be played by the residents and their guests. Okay, so this wouldn't apply if you're not a Villages resident or like renting where you have a Villages ID. You need a Villages ID to play the executive courses. That's the first thing. The second thing is, what we would recommend is that you get the Villages internet. It's not their internet. It's a website basically. Yeah. But it's thevillages.net. And we pay $8 a month for it. I do believe that they do have monthly, you can start and stop it. So you can just, if you're here for 1 or 2 months, pay the $8, trust me. Much easier.
Don't want to use the phone.
Yeah, there is a phone system. And so the short version on the phone system is push 1 for this course, push 2 for that course, push 3 for that. So if your course is number 42, you're going to sit there on the phone and wait for them to come up with number 42. So
and if you make a mistake, you have to start all over again.
So if your time is at all important to you, we would recommend that you use the website. Right. But anyway, so you go on this villages.net and you put in that you want to golf. You can request a tee time. So there's 2 types of requests you can make. The first one you request, and it is a request. It's not a reservation, it's a request. So you tell them, I would like to golf at Saddlebrook Golf Course, and you can pick several courses, which I would advise you doing, Saddlebrook and Yankee Clipper and Pimlico, whatever. And I would like to play on, and so then that has to be 4 to 6 days out, okay? So then you would say, look, I want to play on Thursday, and I would like to play between 9 and 1 o'clock, whatever the times are. You put that request in. After, depending on how early you do it, you will receive then your tee time. You've got to go back into the system and check your tee time, but you will receive a tee time, or if they are unable to accommodate it, you will get a little note saying this reservation was unable to be accommodated. And the other way to do it is if you are within 3 days, you can then make a reservation, and you just click on this thing that says view open tee times, and you view the open tee times, you put in whatever course and blah, 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 and it'll tell you how many slots are open. So it'll say like there's only 1 slot open. So there's a threesome playing at noon. So if you're just a single, you can jump in there. If you've got 2 people, you'll have to keep looking until you find one for 2 people. So basically, those are the rules. The Villages, we all get points when we play. And so what they're trying to do is they've got an algorithm to try and keep things fair for everybody. So if you're constantly golfing at 8 a.m., like a prime time,
7 days a week,
7 days a week, you're going to get hit with points, and basically they're going to shove you to the bottom of the pile. So if I want to play, I at least get a chance to play. It's the same people don't always get the same opportunities. So that's what the point system is about, is to try and make the playing field a little more level for
make it
people.
fair. Yep.
So
Because there's some people that golf every day.
yeah.
So.
And you can always call the course also if it's the same day. You can call them and just say, hey, you know, like we decided we want to play golf this afternoon. We didn't get a tee time. We can always just call, because you cannot look that up online. That's one thing that I wish that they would change, so that I can look at present days reservations. So if I did decide this afternoon at 2 o'clock I want to golf, I could just go on and look. But instead, you do have to call the course. So you would call your preferred course and just ask if there's a tee time for 2 people available at 2 o'clock or whatever. And they'll let you know, or they'll tell you, no, you can play at 3 though, you know, or whatever. So
in the summertime in the afternoon, you can pretty much walk up to any executive.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's hot, and a lot of people will, in the summertime here, there's not as many people, and they'll go
play
in the mornings.
Yeah.
So
can you think of any other rules or anything about that?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I think that during the winter months is probably where
make
that
the request.
That rumor or whatever people say, that it is hard, because there's a lot of people, I mean, that they come down for a month and they want to golf every day.
And they've paid a decent chunk of money maybe to rent their house. So they're like,
rental.
well, we don't have money for golf. That's included in our house.
Exactly.
You know, so they're going to golf the pools.
And I mean, you know, that makes it exciting around here.
Yeah. So thank you for the question.
Yep. The next one is a retired vet, and he has heard that if he has service-connected disability rating, my property taxes in Florida will be lowered, or up to a certain amount will be waived. If property taxes are waived or lowered, is there a certain VA percentage of disability one must have in order to take advantage of this? And I did look this up because I had no clue. Any ex-service member who is a permanent resident of Florida and is disabled at least 10% in war or by service-connected misfortune is entitled to a $5,000 exemption. Now, real estate used and owned by a homestead by a paraplegic or blind or permanently disabled, or must use a wheelchair for mobility, is exempt from taxation if the gross household income is below the current gross income limit. So, I mean, that's a lot to spew at you, but you can get on, you know, the
county website and find
it.
Yeah.
Or I think I just Googled part of that question and all of this came up, and I didn't even realize that. So that's a really good question.
Yeah, and we do have 3 counties here that the Villages is in. So if you happen to be looking at a certain property, just find out which county you're looking at, and then you can, and your realtor may have the information on that as well. But if not, you can always reach out to the county tax collector, because they're the ones that are going to be making that determination. And I know somebody that does not live in Florida, but I do know somebody that does get a tax exemption because of disability. And basically they go to the county, they've got to apply for it, and then the county grants it or doesn't, but they've got to get the letter from the VA stating the amount of their disability and all that, how badly they are disabled,
which is a cool thing. So thanks for bringing that question up.
We are renting one in DeLuna at this time, and my husband talked to the owner today, and he said if we were looking and weren't in a rush, we should look into Eastport. He said it's going to be the bomb with all the good stuff from the centers, etc. What can you ladies tell us about Eastport? Eastport's going to be the bomb. It's going to be a square. It's going to be an actual square. They've got, it sounds like they're doing a lot of the recreation and the square right next to each other. There's softball fields. There's supposed to be indoor pickle there.
Yeah, everything's in one big
area.
And they're putting a lake in there where
they're digging the lake right now.
And it's paying tribute to the Morse family roots, which was in Antrim County, Michigan. So they're kind of doing, that'll probably be the theme of this one. They always do a theme, and they do it quite well. But it's on the other side of the turnpike over the Sawgrass Bridge to, right now is the bridge to nowhere.
Yeah.
It's still being built, and it's still sand out there. So I don't know what their target date is.
Everything I think I've read has been 2024. However, is that for the homes, or is that just completion of the rec center and all that stuff? So they let us in little pieces, but it's also, you know, hard to know a certain date. Anything can happen in construction. Nobody knew COVID was going to happen. If there's a construction supply shortage, of all of a sudden there's a shortage of wood, whatever, you know, things change. So anyway, but definitely I would say if that's something that interests you, One thing we've talked about in other videos, if you're a noise freak though, like I am, I don't like to hear lots of noise in my neighborhood. Make
Turnpike
sure
is
you
there.
pay attention. Well, the turnpike, and then if you're right near a square,
Yeah.
you're a couple miles from a square and you
Mhm.
hear the music. So,
Sometimes we hear music, depending
depending
on the
on,
wind or if
yeah,
it's a real still night, but it doesn't bother me because I like music,
yep,
but it might bother somebody else.
yep. So just make sure you check out the area before you
But
jump
some of
in.
the stuff they're doing in here, they'll have the small lake with dragon boating,
Hmm.
other water activities. So I would assume the little boat you can drive, and teaching academy, driving range, dog park, the softball complex, indoor gymnasium,
That's
which
where the
is
indoor
new.
pickleball is supposed to be there.
Yeah, and that's something new that
Hmm.
they're doing.
Yep.
And then all the normal amenities that you would find in
And
any other.
and that area, just so you know too, is right near a big family community, Middleton. And so,
They're building that too.
that can be a plus or minus, depends on who you are. If people are interested in coming here and only not being around any kids or anything, that might be an area you want to avoid a little bit more. But the Middleton has got the new high school, all of that, and the family neighborhoods are down there too. So, but if that's something like I love I love the seasons when the kids come
Kids,
and
so
everything,
yeah,
and stuff because it's fun to me.
makes you smile.
But some people are like, I don't want kids near me. That's why I moved to a retirement community. So anyway, so just think about that too, because Middleton is right next door, and so you probably will see a lot more younger people, families,
Yes, yeah,
etc. there too.
and they're trying to bring people in to
Yeah,
nurses, doctors,
yeah,
dentists, professional
we need
people
them.
to help with the villages since it's so big. So
Yeah. But thank you for your question, and
yeah,
good luck if you on your search once you're committed.
yeah, yep. I guess this one's for me. What do you see as the pros and cons of living on a golf course? Um, View, cart traffic, privacy or lack thereof, noise of people and carts, etc. And how often do they mow? What time of day is it loud? And how long will they be out there? Um, they mow the greens every morning. They get out there pretty early. In the wintertime, they have their headlights on. It really hasn't ever woke me up before because we're pretty close to a green. There's noise out there. Not a
And doesn't it
lot.
depend on the hole you're on? Don't they start on one? Because they
Yes.
do start on one and then they work
And
their way
right.
through, right?
So if you're on number one, you're going to have people there at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, if you're at 7 or 8 or 9, you're gonna
And if you're
they'll
on
catch you a
number
little bit,
nine, it's
yeah,
different.
later.
And the equipment will start on one and keep ahead of
Yeah.
the golfers. They mow the total grass in the summertime a little more than the wintertime. It doesn't really bother you. You're out and about. I would be careful of buying a house 150 yards out of the tee.
And in my mind, particularly on the right-hand side, because more golfers tend to slice than hook. So if that ball takes off,
You will get hit.
yeah.
Some people don't like to be close to the cart path. So, I mean, there's houses on one side, cart path, and there's no cart path on the other side. I mean, it's just, it depends on what you're looking for, but I mean, you're going to hear
And
some
how much things
language.
bother you or not, too. I mean,
Right.
if you're at a tee box, people are going to be sitting there waiting to tee off. So you're going to have people, and I said I
Talking,
find myself
yeah.
do it too. I look, I'm like, oh, I like their bushes over there.
Yeah.
Those are really cute. Oh, like those flowers
that,
or whatever. So you don't mean to be staring in somebody's backyard, but it kind of is just nature that it's there, and so.
And another thing is, you will probably have people plucking a ball, depending on where you are. We really don't, because they don't go over the green. I don't know. I think it has a false front or something. There's very seldom does somebody shoot over that green. And there are a lot of people that, not a lot, there are some people that have little signs, privacy please, and they will sit out there and yell at you if you go into their...
The rule is if somebody hits a ball in your yard, it's yours. You're not supposed to retrieve it. That said, many people that live on courses are golfers, and they're like, I don't care. Don't trample my bushes. Don't come up 2 feet from my window and be looking at my house. But shoot, if you hit the ball 2 feet into my yard, go get it. I don't care. But you're not really supposed to. That doesn't mean that people don't do it anyway. They do.
Yeah. And it doesn't bother us at all. And I don't feel like we don't have privacy. I mean, we have entertainment. I mean, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a nice backyard.
Yep. Nobody behind
but
you.
you're going to have people in your backyard. So,
But only during the day.
yep.
So at night you've got very private,
Hmm.
and in the mornings, other than the
Yeah,
landscapers,
because
you'll
it
have
takes
some
them a while
private.
to
So
get, but they're pretty quick. I mean, they're when they come to do the greens, it's pretty quick.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I would,
I think that's a person to person thing. I think
yeah,
it depends on what's important to you.
what you're looking for. And I think some people buy on a golf course because they like that big space, but they don't like the people out there. So
Hmm.
you need to think about that
Yeah,
before you buy.
you're
But
definitely going to have people in
we
your
love it.
backyard.
Yeah.
The next question was, do you have a dehumidifier to assist with the removing of humidity out of your homes during the humid months of the year? If not, does it get musty smelling in the houses during the summer? My quick answer is no, we do not. Yes, it can get musty smelling, especially if you go away. Even if we
If you
just go
go
away for
away,
like 3-4 days and the house is closed up, it
yeah.
gets that musty smell. But I will say, for me, I have found an because my husband is highly allergic to like plugins and all that kind of stuff, so we don't do that in our house. But I found this oil, and it's kind of pricey, but it lasts a long time, and that has kept it out. And then I put in my closet, I put a little cheap deodorizer thing that I got on Amazon for like $6. So anyway, if you're interested in either of those products, I'd be happy to put those down in the comments for you. But that's how I handle it when we go away.
Yeah. And we do have a dehumidifier that's attached to our furnace air conditioner. And when we leave, I mean, because we used to be 6 months, 6 months, you do the humidity to a certain this, and then I mean, there was several steps to keep it that way. But I'm just going to say that when your house is shut up that long, it has that halitosis. Remember those commercials? And we were just gone 3 weeks and came home and we're laying in bed. And I'm going, oh, the house smells. But then you run your air a little more because we usually keep our air higher
And you
while we're gone.
shower,
Yeah,
and you've got your own body smells, and you
yeah.
cook,
I
and you
don't
do
have body
laundry.
smells.
They're good body smells. Didn't say they were bad body smells. Good body smells. But we all have our, and
Right.
your
Yeah.
detergent from your laundry,
Yeah.
like all the things that we use that.
And there's some people that never open their windows.
Yeah.
And I think if you're here all the time, the air keeps it pretty good. But if it's a low humidity day with a big breeze, I'll open. I mean, you can't with Leo's allergies, but we'll open up the house from this side to this side, let some of that fresh air get through.
Yeah.
But there's not that many of those days except in the wintertime.
No, that's true. Wintertime is the time to do
But
it.
that's something that if that bothers you, I mean, I think Dyson has an air purifier, whatever. I'm sure there's things that you
Could try to, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
So the next question was, I'm curious if garage sales are allowed in the villages. I never see on any of the videos we've watched when people are driving their golf carts around. I thought maybe the villages perhaps doesn't allow signs poked in the ground or signs put in poles around the neighborhoods due to wanting to keep the communities clean and not have that look in their villages. Actually, you will see garage sale signs. I'm sure that there are rules like they can go up in the day and have to come down at night and all that stuff. You can't leave them out forever. But yes, there are garage sales, and I will say a lot of the neighborhoods do them together, or a street will do them together, and they'll start at 8 o'clock. And I'm just telling you, I have enough crap. I don't need somebody else's crap. But there are lines at 7:30 in the morning. If it starts at 8, they are lined up at 7:30. Can't wait to get in there. So,
yeah, Madero for the last 2 days has been a nightmare. I don't even go down it, and plus there's cars parked on Morse. I don't know if it's an estate sale or a block sale or street sale, and a lot of people put them in the paper.
Yeah, my neighbors did one a couple times, and we didn't even know because we don't. I try to keep as little junk as I need. And anyway, so it was funny because we were just trying to get out of our driveway, and it was like, and we live on a cul-de-sac, and it was like rush hour. We're like, can we please just get out of our driveway? It was, I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
It's pretty popular
insane
here. I mean, and I do know that some people will get little no parking this side signs to at least keep a lane open. But with the streets kind of narrow, it's hard. You can get a car and a cart maybe, but 2 cars meeting. So yeah, but it's, I mean, I know a lot of people that go to them for fun and find some great treasures. But I did see Villages Watch guy take one down in front of a villa. So I don't know if the villas have any kind of rules It was right outside.
Could be, or maybe it was up there for too many days or something.
Could be.
And
they went
he was
around,
like, okay.
yeah, and they forgot to take their sign down. So
Yeah.
that's the only time I've ever seen that. But yeah, there's a lot of them.
And then the third part of that question, or that person's question, was, I'm curious as to how the tee times work on the championship courses. I know the executive courses are free for village residents to play by using the village tee time reservation system, and they are not open to the public. But since the championship courses are open to the public, do they use a different system, since everybody who would play them has to pay green fees? Is it like any non-villages golf course where everybody just calls each clubhouse directly to make your tee time, regardless of if you are a resident or not? Anyway, if you could clarify how it works, we would appreciate it. See above. It's exactly the same as the executive for residents. So there's a drop down that asks which type of course you want to play, if you want to play an executive or a championship. So that's the only difference when you're using the internet system for that. And the only difference between the championship and the executives would be non-residents can play. They cannot make tee times in advance. They do need to call each clubhouse until they can find one that has an open the day of, until they can find a place that's got an open tee time for them. Yeah. So, but basically, yes, exactly.
And they didn't used to do that, and now they've done that. And I think it's kind of smart because, first of all, it gets someone in here
paying,
kind of
and checking things out,
paying an empty slot. And checking things out.
Yeah.
So
maybe eating in a restaurant or shopping in a store too.
Yeah. So yeah, the day of you can call in the morning, and I would call early because there's other people like sometimes we sit around and go, what are we going to do today? Oh, let's see if there's any opening. So if you're really interested in coming in that day, I would call as soon as they open.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was basically all the questions. And
very good questions.
Yeah. Good questions. And like I said, I'll put our email address up there. I can never remember what it is, so I'll put it up there. And if you need to contact us via email, we're happy to respond that way as well, because some people don't want to put their names and stuff out there, and we respect that. That's why we didn't say your names. So anyway, but hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful.
Yep. And thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe and keep those questions coming.
Yep. Hope you watch the next one.